Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Stockport, the analysis days, everybody's favourite 1 hour mess. Hey, there you go. Right, so I thought we'd start a little bit earlier. What I was actually planning on doing is going to the 14th, doing the final day of the season game, because there's still one more match, because reasons. And then we can have a look through there, because that way we can actually see the final results of all the leagues. But we've got the board initial budgets, and I figured I'd show you these guys now, since for some reason they didn't come through then, because of weird things. So yeah, Premier League scouting. We've got scouting meeting, no doubt loads of these players we can just... Here's a weird thing for you. For some reason, obviously when I get these scout reports through, most of them are useless, right? So I will just highlight the ones that are below like 70 and discard, right? But for some reason, when I get players through with scout reports from the Russian leagues or the Armenian leagues, it won't let me discard the scout reports. I don't know why. Like, even if I do it individually, I'll hover over it and click on it, and it will just not have a discard option, which is really, really strange. So yeah, there's that. We'll have to take a look at these guys, of course, in the off-season. Some of them, I mean, obviously, yeah, you know how this works. Anyway, so, board initial budgets, what we doing? Oh my good bloody Christ. Holy shit. Sorry. Wow. Our budget for next year, £550,000 a week. Fair enough. £58 million transfer budget. What are we doing in the bank here? I'm just interested. 54 million in the bank at the moment. That might change after the final day of the season. Let's just go past that now so we can get into things. Weird situation here. Why is it not saying Palace are relegated, even though they've played the maximum number of fixtures? Is it just waiting for the final fixture here to go through? Because look, there's no R next to their name, but they've got a worse goal difference. So, I don't... Have they changed the rules? The board have just announced they're going to enlarge the stadium as well. It's going to cost £7 million, but we're going to have a 19,100. That's more like it. Oh, they're going to upgrade the youth facilities too. Dope. They're doing this all without my permit. Wow. Okay. The board are really throwing money at us now. I'm a huge fan of this. Sorry, this feels like a normal episode at the moment. I'm just trying to get through to the end of the season so we could start. There we go. For some reason, it didn't relegate Crystal Palace until Manchester City and Liverpool have played their game. That is really, really bizarre. But there you go. They drew 2-2, so who cares? Right, so that's the Premier League, how it is. What a season we've had. We finished with a positive goal difference. The only team outside the top 7 to have a positive goal difference. Some of those wins, like the 5-0 and the 4-0, really have helped with that. What a season. So we finished in the end, what was that? 33 points clear of the relegation zone. Bit more than I was expecting, to be perfectly honest. We were right close to Huddersfield and could have nearly snatched 8. We're still quite a long way off of European football, I have to say. That being said, with the right run of results next season and the right signings and the right players improving, you never know what we're capable of, do you? But it really does appear that overthrowing a team like Manchester United this season, considering they lost 2 matches, ironically one of which was to Fulham. I still don't know who the other one was to. I'm just going to check this now because it's so bizarre that they actually did. So let me guess. So they lost 2-0 to Fulham in the Premier League. And I don't know, did they go out on away goals here to Milan? I don't really know what's happened here. Yeah, they actually did, I think. That's bizarre. And the other match was a 2-0 defeat to Chelsea. So those were the only 2 matches they... Look at these schedules! Okay, so, yeah, that's Manchester United for you right now. That's what we've got to try and somehow overcome in this save. Now, a lot of people said that FM looks a bit easier this year, and I genuinely think it might be. I don't know whether it's because of the new stuff they've implemented might not be quite balanced properly. Not to say that anyone's exploiting anything with it, it's just that I feel like some of the things you're doing that are just good practice are having a larger benefit, it seems. That being said, I do think that overthrowing this Manchester United team is probably going to be the toughest challenge I've ever faced on FM, because they are... When we've been in this position with Portsmouth and Wimbledon, the teams we've been up against have not been of the quality of Manchester United this season. 102 points. That is unbelievable. To finish 17 points clear of a team that's got 85 points would win you the title a lot of seasons, and yet they're 17 points off the pace. That is outrageous. Anyway, let's take a look at the other leagues. It's what you're actually here for, some of you. Anyway, so let's get into this. Championship. We might even have the playoff finals decided. So the semi-finals have been decided anyway. Leeds versus Aston Villa in one of the playoff finals. And West Brom and Southampton already promoted. There you go. Down go Luton. No, Bristol Rovers go down and Barnsley go down in flames, it would appear, which is not great for them, really, is it? Let's looking at League One for a little minute. And the playoff final is Millwall versus Charlton, so that's kind of cool. And Bury are going up into the Championship along with Ipswich Town, which is cool. Gillingham, Colchester, Rotherham and AFC Wimbledon go down in League One, which is a shame for some of that. Any surprise packages in this league? Not really. You'll notice Billericay not exactly ripping up trees in League Two either. Port Vale against AFC Fylde in the League 2 playoff final. Imagine if AFC Fylde got to League 1 in this save. That would be outrageous, to be perfectly honest, considering they were only promoted from the National League last season. Imagine if they got into the 3rd tier. Anyway, let's just look at the league as well. Blackpool, Chesterfield and Barnet, yay, going back up again. And down go Grimsby and Swindon Town out of the Football League there. And you can see Billericay came 16th this year, so they've certainly not had the season of dreams. Looking at the National League as well while we're here, I think this one should already be over. Note the playoff final is Telford versus Boston United. Oh my god, that's awesome. I know we've got some Boston fans in the comment section, that much I do know. So Boston could potentially get back into the Football League, lads. That is bloody awesome. Really, really pleased for them. I hope they do it. Crawley go up along with... No, Crawley go up. Salford still haven't managed to get out of this league. Down go Kidderminster, Halifax Town, Torquay, and Dulwich Hamlet. Ah, Dulwich. They came so close to coming into the Football League with us that year. Them and Harrogate Town. It was such an awesome season. It really was. Look at this Clark lad for Salford. 29 goals, and they still didn't even get that close to getting promoted. Imagine if Boston went up from here coming 7th. Anyway, that's it for this because I turned off the other leagues, I think. Yeah, we don't have any proper information on them now. It's just extra data that we don't really need. So we'll go to... how do we do this? Go to Leagues in Focus, perhaps. We can try and figure it out from there. That's not the button I meant to press at all. Leagues in Focus. That's the one, isn't it? Right, league table. Liga Santander. Barcelona, they've still got a lot of games left, amazingly. They're probably still going to win the league, but that is surprising. Valladolid, Getafe and Zaragoza going down most likely, though Eibar probably in a bit of trouble as well there. I think we do have the 2nd tier of Spain turned on. So Espanyol coming up. Leganes looking, well, strong for it. There's Gijón, Vallecano. Apologies for butchering these. Granada, Osasuna, down go Numancia. I don't think I've ever heard of Cultural y Deportiva Leonesa. That's kind of cool. Recreativa Huelva go down, as do Real Sociedad's B team. So I guess bad luck for them. Okay. Let's try out. Let's try the French league. Paris Saint-Germain win the league. Massive shocker there. Or, yeah, they've already won it. They've lost one match all season. They could actually beat Man United's total from our league. Lyon in there with Monaco, Marseille, Lille, Amiens, Auxerre also up there. Down go Caen. Saint Etienne going down from the top flight. And Nancy. So that's not good for them. I don't know what the 2nd tier... Have we got that turned on? I think we do. Dijon and Le Havre are coming up. Lorient, Metz and Lens are looking strong for the playoffs. Down go QRM. That's weird that they've written it like that. Yeah, I was going to say, it's normally written something else. Valencians and Critel Lusitanos. Again, apologies for the butchering of the pronunciations on that one. Right, so we'll go back over. I think I've got Italy and Germany also. Oh, we've got Scotland turned on as well. We'll have a look at that too. Inter are looking pretty good for a title challenge in Italy, which would be pretty cool. Juventus, Milan, Napoli, Lazio and Roma. Not a huge surprise there. Chievo, Cagliari and Crotone looking in trouble down at the bottom. No huge surprises there. 2nd tier, oh, of course they've got the playoffs, haven't they? So it's Brescia in there, Pescara, Provercelli, Salernitana, strange, I don't recognise, Verona and Cittadella going up too, which is pretty damn cool. Down go Siena, Lecce, Foggia, Vicenza and Calcio. I thought they said Calcio, that would have been amazing. Catania going down from the 2nd tier in Italy with the 19 teams. That seems a bit of a strange number of teams to have. Did they kick a team out and then just not replace them? That seems to be... That must be what's happened, right? That's a really strange number of teams to have in a league. Bundesliga, Bayern, they've reclaimed their title. Stuttgart could not hang on to the title after they won it last year. They couldn't even get 2nd because Leverkusen sneaking in there. Down go Köln, Fortuna Düsseldorf, and Hanover. Ooh, Hanover, and that's some bad seasons, isn't it? Right. How are St. Pauli doing in the 2nd tier? Are they still in the 2nd tier? Oh, they are. Okay, come on, guys. You can get out of it one day. They've drawn a lot of games there, though. So Bremen, Nuremberg, and Ingolstadt going up. Well, likely anyway. Bielefeld, Heidenheim and, ooh, that's a team I don't recognise. Veren Wiesbaden. I don't recognise that team's name at all. It's cool to see them in the 2nd tier, I suppose. I'm probably, like, talking nonsense and they're, like, a really massive team. I'm just not overly familiar with the sort of nuances of German football. Rangers have won the Scottish Premier League, lads. It's actually happened. My God. Celtic, Motherwell, Hibs up there. Down at the bottom, Partick Thistle go down and St Johnstone are in big troubles. I think I turned off all the leagues below that because it was just... Oh, no, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Nope, there you go. Inverness coming up with Falkirk, Down go Dundee and Queen of the South. I definitely turned off the leagues below that, though. So that's pretty cool. I have got the Brazilian league turned on so we could try and get some more regions and the Argentinian leagues, but obviously with the way the leagues run, there's no point in having a look at those. So there you go. That's how the leagues around Europe are shaping up. They've not quite finished yet, even though it's the 14th of May. I figured they would be, but at least you can see a little bit more of what's happened because we finished a little bit later. Right, now comes the bit we're all interested in. It's the analysis part, since we're already like 10 minutes into this video, and that's a bad sign. So let's go to team detailed, see how we compare to the other teams. 8th in the league on average possession. We came 9th this season. I'm all right with that. Man United has 16 penalties this year, and we had 2. We had 2 penalties all season. We got the one away at Liverpool, which Bruno Bridges should have taken, and then we got That's amazing. Our 2 penalties this season have come in our final 2 games of the season. No, wow, that is actually quite bizarre. The fact that Cardiff and Wolves didn't have any, and Man United got 16 penalties this season. That is like classic Man United. That's great. Then again, they are that good, so they probably got the ball all the time. What was their possession stat like? 54. It's not great, really, is it? 8th for headers won, which is good. Headers won ratio up into 3rd. That's what I like to see. Our towering centre-backs, I think, have made a difference in that area this year. We don't have the worst disciplinary record either. At one point we did, but we've kind of tailed off on that towards the end of the year. Still the 3rd worst, but it could have been a lot worse. Red cards, we've had 3. 2 in one game, and then the Kubat second yellow later in the year. Bristol City got 5 reds this year. What a dreadful record they've got for discipline. That's just bad. Chelsea scored 101 goals. That's amazing, actually, considering that Man United won the league with a 17-point gap, and yet Chelsea scored 11 more times than them and got over 100 goals. Man United must have been miserly as all hell in defence. Cardiff only scored 24 times. We got 64, which is the joint 5th most. So we're doing well in terms of goal scoring this season, which is very, very nice. 64 league goals scored. Next year, I want to try and push that towards 70, but you never know. I'll take a better defence if we need to. Cross completion, 15%. That's nice. Huddersfield, you can see why they were as far up the league as well. They've really been completing their crosses. Cardiff, not so much. Crosses completed as well, 238. Huddersfield just below us as well. They're the top team's obviously going to have more. Goals from corners, we've had 12. That's still pretty good for the Premier League. So yeah, I'm glad we're still playing for set pieces because it is clearly still working for us. Direct free kick goals, 2. It's not the end of the world. I wonder how many we've conceded though, is kind of my issue. Only 2 indirect ones scored as well. Pass completion ratio, 77%. I feel like that will go up as we get better through the leagues and start to have a better quality of player over time. Passes completed, yeah. I mean, Stockport County, we still created the most chances in the Premier League, though. 78 chances. I feel like if we've had John Okoro the full season, we might have got a few extra points just from that alone. But that being said, I had a look and I saw that Zé Maria has been hitting a lot of shots on target. And shots on target ratio, 47. This is where we excel because I think it's because it's our inside forwards and wingers cutting inside. They have this massive goal to aim at and they just seem to be able to hit it better. And that's really, really nice to see that we're still creating the most chances and getting the most shots on target. So I think just a slightly better quality of player and we will just creep up on this. Shots on target, the 6th most, which is about right. Conversion ratio, 4th most. If we could improve on that, we'd be really up there. Fouls against, my God, look at that. We actually win the least fouls, which would explain why we're not scoring so many goals and free kicks and whatnot. Dribbles per game, not doing too badly with 7. But again, I think it's a case of as we get better players. Right, conceded. Oh my God. I didn't notice that. That is ridiculous. Manchester United only conceded 11 goals. That has to be a league record. I'm genuinely... We scored 2 of those. We scored 2 of the goals because we lost 3-2 to them at Edgeley Park. That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm genuinely baffled by that. They've only conceded 11 goals in 38 matches. That's less than 1 goal every 3 games. I've never seen a team do as well as that. To win the league by the way that they did, but it's based on their defence. It has to be. 11 goals. Has anyone seen anything more than that from an AI team? I don't care if it's your team. That doesn't matter. It's an AI team being that dominant. Conceded from corners only 2. We've only conceded 6. It's not bad, is it? Direct free kicks. I don't know why it's not showing it. Oh, it was... Oh, yeah. No, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Corners, yeah. 3 from direct free kicks. It could be worse. Conceded from indirect. Only 2. Not too bad. Clean sheet. They've had 29 clean sheets out of 38 matches. That is outrageous. We've had 11, though. 11 is very good for us. It's certainly a lot better than we did last year. I'm fairly certain of that. Fouls made. We're probably up there. Yes, I figured we would be. Tackles won. We've won a lot of those. And our tackles won ratio is the highest in the Premier League. 89% of our tackles have been won. That's a stark contrast, really. Our defenders seem to have really improved this year, and I genuinely think it's the defensive partnership of Makengo and Roussel with either Dimitrov and Bednar on the left-hand side. We are literally one really good right-back away from having an absolutely brilliant defence that's only going to keep getting better. Penalties conceded. We conceded 11 penalties this year. That is a problem for me. That is really, really high. Maybe a bit of inexperience, I don't know. Average attendance, obviously the lowest at 12,000. Average attendance by capacity, we're pretty much selling out every game. We've actually had sellouts this time. That's good. We've had 18 sellouts this season, which is nice. Only 1 game didn't sell out. Man United had 95,000 in 1 game and was obviously still the lowest. Our lowest attendance is obviously still the lowest, as you'd expect. Transfer spend. Man United spent 113 million this year, and we only spent 9 in total, if you count, and that's to get 8th in the league. Man City and Spurs actually made money this year, so fair play to them. Salaries per annum. Yeah, our salary at 13 point... Look at that. Our salary is less than half of the nearest team.
and Huddersfield, to be fair, as well, massively punching above their weight. We're counted as rich because we spend so little money. It's undeniable. We are truly unbelievable at that. Just want to check the finances, see if we've been given any more money yet. 70 million in the bank. Our transfer budget of 57 million. What a year this has been for us. We're going to get hit with an enormous tax bill, though, so there is that too. So expect some of that to go down. Player detailed. Very interested in this one. Games Yellow Cards Kit Kat will be on there too, which is another reason why I think he's definitely an area we need to look at as a potential change things up. Kubat got two reds this year. Miller got 5 of those, and Dimitrov got 4. That's actually pretty impressive. Distance cover per 90 minutes. Dimitrov doing well. Kubat gets about a bit too, and so does Andy Davidson. Headers 1. Average rating we're not going to have. Oh my god, Andy Davidson. He's gone under the radar as being an absolute monster this year. So goals. Here we go. Harry Kane obviously wins with 24, but Josef Baiza, 14 this year. It's not bad, and Liam Miller's got 13 in total. So Baiza, I think he's done a solid job. He's been our top goal scorer this season. He got 16, I think, in all competitions. It's not as many as I would like, but he is still only 19, remember, and he's got a long way to improve. I'm hugely happy with that. Minutes per goal, Harry Kane again. Baiza, better than Liam Miller, of course, which is nice. Number of shots in total, Baiza's had a decent amount, as has Liam Miller. Shots on target, not a huge surprise there. Shots on target percentage, there you go. There you go. Zé Maria, 72% shots on target. Baiza 55, Miller 55. Miller has dropped down, I think. I think last year he was into the 60s for that. But it's nice to have a striker as well that's actually doing quite nicely. 55% for our striker is definitely an improvement, but 72% for Zé Maria. He really should have more goals from that, in all honesty. But there you go. Conversion rate, Harry Kane 25. Zé Maria 18% is still pretty good. If he just had more shots. Team goals, yeah, not a huge surprise there. Penalties, Bruno Bridges did get one, he's on there. Assists, Salah got 14. Zé Maria did get 10 assists, and Dimitrov got 8. That left side has been phenomenal for us. Key passes, Andy Davidson, 6th best key passer in the league. Baiza and Zé Maria on there as well. Chances created, Miller created the most, Zé Maria up there as well. That's fantastic that those two are doing so well. Pass completion, we're not going to have anywhere near this one, unfortunately. Cross completion ratio, we might though. Regan Booty, GG, I guess. Dribbles per game, yeah, no one quite up to that standard. I feel like if Coro was fit, he might have been, perhaps. Team conceded. Vinicius Junior has only been on... He's made 30 appearances, and only 9 goals have been conceded during those appearances. That is just... I have no words. Tackles per game, Booty up there too, which is nice. Mistakes leading to goals. Hopefully we don't have anyone there. Oh, Malden. Yeah, and Roussel with 2. That's not great, is it, Morgan? Mistakes overall, obviously we're going to have... No, we're not. Okay, nice. Key tackles, anyone at all? No. I guess that's all right. Key headers, Makengo, 53. Well done, mate. Interceptions made, Makengo, nice. That's what I like to see. Headers 1 ratio. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. We've got 6'5" centre-backs. Are you telling me none of them have won more than 79% headers? Okay, we might have to take a look at that one. Shots blocked, Makengo again up there too. Goalkeepers. Louis Molden has the 15th. That's a bit of a shame, really. I feel like he deserves more than that. Clean sheets, though, he's done all right with 11. We've just conceded a lot in some of the games where we do concede. Saves held and saves parried. Right, let's do what we actually want to do and take a look at the comparisons. We're not going to be doing attacking midfielders this time because we played that so rarely and they're not even at the club at the moment. So we're using the DM comparison this time round. But we're starting, no point in doing goalkeepers because we've had no comparison. We'll start with the centre-backs. I'm very interested in that one particularly. For once, we actually can compare all of the players that we actually have right here because they've all played minutes, so it'll be interesting to see the comparisons. Obviously, Batic and Regan Poole haven't played a large amount, but it's still enough for me to maybe have a look at them. You could see that the ability is Roussel, Makengo, Gray. John Gray might be... Is it time that we try and move this guy on at some point? Because... he's just never quite hit the heights that we were hoping. It's been 156 times for us, but he's worth nearly 10 million. Then again, we don't really need to be moving players on right now, but if there was a bid and it was a chance to free up some wage budget, because remember, we've got Canmaz coming in too, so we're going to have 3 outrageously good centre-backs. So, most minutes played, obviously, is going to be Makengo. Pass completed, Morgan Roussel, but Makengo's up there too. Those two dominating this category, as you'd expect. Passes completed per 90 minutes. Makengo's not far off, and Roussel's top of that one too. Team goals per 90 minutes. We score the most goals with those guys in the team, and ironically the least with those. But I think it's interesting to see how we do from a defensive standpoint. Key passes per 90 minutes. Again, they're more creative. It is undeniable, but I just think that's too low of a sample size. Team conceded per 90 minutes. Right, this is what I'm really interested in. Again, it's the most when Makengo's in there. And John Gray's done okay, actually, to be fair to him. We've not conceded as many goals when he's in the team. But I guess it's certainly noteworthy, but they are the youngest, and I feel like there's still a lot of chance for them to improve. Tackles 1 ratio. John Gray, 100%, but we don't know how many tackles that was. Makengo and Roussel, 94 and 92 is still fine by me. Interceptions, though. This is where I think it starts to really come in, though. You can see that they are just that much better mentally at getting into the right position and making those interceptions. Headers won. Carlo Makengo is 6'5" and has 12 heading. How is he only won 74%? Morgan Roussel has 17 heading. Okay, he's not super tall, but he should be doing better than that. Particularly as John Gray, he's only got 12 heading and is 6'2", yet he's won 79% of his headers. It could be that we're playing a slightly different style of football, but at the end of the day, I'm still happy that next season a Makengo and Roussel partnership, potentially with Kanmaz coming in as well. Rotating around those three, we'll have really solid defenders that are all relatively young as well, with lots of room to grow. So I'm completely content that our centre-back situation is fine, because we've got John Gray as well as a reasonably competent backup too. Basic will be leaving, of course, and Regan Poole I'll probably ship off as well. He just hasn't really done it for us this season, and that's fine. I wasn't expecting him to. But honestly, I think that having 4 really decent centre-backs already, and young with plenty of room, I don't think we need to be signing in that area. If I see any players that are really young and cheap with high potential, then I might bring them in just to sort of get them around the squad for the future maybe, but nothing like first team quality I think needs to be signed. I'm really content with the fact that Roussel and Makengo are dominant and Kanmaz is only going to improve that area. So I think centre-backs were good in that area. Let's take a look at full-backs now. Okay, so fullbacks is an interesting one. Obviously there's a few players like Osei Tutu, but he's not played at all. So what we're really looking at is the comparison on the right between Kit Kat, Bridges. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. And on the left between Dimitrov, Bednar and Vashon Nerfil as well, potentially, but mostly between Bednar and Dimitrov to see how well he's done since he's joined the club. Very, very interested in that. So, minutes played, obviously the most is Dimitrov, but Bruno Bridges has still played 1,700 minutes this year and made 19 Premier League appearances this season. For a guy that I thought was pretty much past it, our captain, 24-year-old Bruno Bridges, has been a rock for us this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. So assists per 90 minutes is the most important. Nerfil is the most, but I just kind of don't feel like he's that relevant to this assist system. Camille Bednar actually has the most with 5 in 13 appearances. Bruno Bridges has got 2 in 19, which means he's already outdone Kit Kat on assists. He's got more than double the number of assists per 90 minutes than Kit Kat does. So 1 mark there for Bruno Bridges. At the end of the day, Bednar and Dimitrov both have outrageously good records in that position. I want to keep both of them for as long as possible. We've got that position sewn up for like the next 5 years if both of these two stay, because they are that good. And long may that continue. We are so good in that one position, and that's really, really pleasing. Chances created per 90 minutes. Bednar, again, decently better than Dimitrov. You can see that he is just a better quality of player. But what I would say, though, is that Dimitrov is still a very, very good player. Bednar's just that much better. I just don't even think we need to talk about that side. We'll notice it, though. Kit Kat is creating more chances per 90 minutes than Bruno Bridges, in fact. So there is that one. So that's worth looking at, though. Passes completed per 90 minutes. Kit Kat, 77. Bruno Bridges down on 72. So Kit Kat can pass the ball around a bit more. And Dimitrov is passing the ball slightly better than Bednar. So there is that. Passes completed per 90 minutes. Kit Kat with the most passes by an absolute mile there. He seems to be... That might not even be a good thing. I want to see key passes. That's what we're really interested in. Most key passes. Bednar, again, slightly better than Dimitrov, and Bruno Bridges outperforms Kit Kat in the terms of the key passes, which I think is more important. Passing's fine, but it's what those passes are actually leading to. Meaningless sideways passes, because you can't pick out a good one, is not that important. Bednar, again, is only slightly better than Dimitrov in that one, but Bruno Bridges has a fair old step up over Kit Kat, a good 20% more. So again, point Bruno Bridges. Dribbles per game. I feel like this is an area where Bruno's going to struggle. But I say struggle. He's not any worse than Kit Kat is. Bruno Bridges has what, 5 dribbling? Or is it 6 now? It's 6. What about Kit Kat? He's got 11 dribbling, and yet Bruno Bridges is nearly performing as well as him in the dribbling department. Mental. And again, Bednar is outperforming Dimitrov quite considerably by like 50% in that role. So he's just that little bit better. Shots on target we're not that bothered by. Cross completion. Here we go. The big one. Bednar just slightly better than Dimitrov, 17 to 15. Although Nerfil, not bad with 20%. But again, Bruno Bridges, 16% cross completion. Kit Kat, 14%. Bruno Bridges' crossing is 10. Kit Kat's crossing is 9. To be fair, Bruno Bridges should be outperforming, and he is. Bruno Bridges is an absolute enigma in how he's managed to put in this level of performance. He didn't even... I'm just looking at Bruno for a second. Like, he's got decent enough physicals, but he doesn't have great stats for a Premier League... I mean, what is he, League One quality? What would he be good for? Big matches, it doesn't actually say, does it? Or am I missing something? Here we go. Leading player for most EFL League 2 sides. Now, I think that's bollocks, personally. This doesn't seem to have a very good take. But if that's genuinely true, then how is he putting in these performances? Looking at his history as well, 7.5 on average this year. Now, that's amazing. That's actually better than he did in the first season of his championship, in the first season of the championship when he played 23 times.
Genuinely incredible that he's putting in better performances in the Premier League than he did when he was in the Championship. I've lost for words. You couldn't even write this. Yeah, like I said, lost for words. So fair play to him on that one. Team conceded per 90 minutes. Let me guess, we're probably worse with Bruno Bridges in the team. No, we're not. We're actually not. Amazingly, we're better with him in the team from a defensive standpoint too. We're actually worse with Dimitrov. So again, it's Bednar and Bridges are the two key players for that role. I don't believe it. Tackles won ratio. He's got the highest tackles won ratio as well. A full 7% higher than Kit Kat. I don't know how he's doing this, but he is, and he is actually Jesus, isn't he? I'm sure there is a reason, but it might just be Kit Kat's really bad. But I think Bruno Bridges is actually putting up really good numbers for that position. It's incredible. So there you go. And what about interceptions? Dimitrov and of course Bruno Bridges dominating on interceptions as well. Bednar in around there too, and Kit Kat's not far behind, but he's clearly a worse player than Bruno Bridges. Okay, headers won. Surely Bruno Bridges isn't going to dominate that. No, he's only got 65% because he is, in theory, I think a lot shorter than Kit Kat. He's, 5'11", actually, so tell a lie. Kit Kat's 5'9", so Bruno Bridges got no leg to stand on there, quite literally. Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. So what we've come to the conclusion is here that the left side is completely sewn up for a long time. Dimitrov and Bednar are phenomenal. The right side, though, Kit Kat, I might move him on in the summer if I can. I like the name and I like the nickname, but I just don't think he's going to get... If he can't even outperform Bruno Bridges at this point, then we need someone else in that position. So next year, it's going to be me trying to sign a right back, a sort of Dimitrov Bednar quality right back, and then Bruno Bridges can play understudy because let's face it, he can clearly do a job in the Premier League, and why not give him the chance to continue being that understudy, because why the hell not? So that's my decision made on fullbacks. Right, let's go to the DMs. So when it comes to DMs, we're essentially just comparing Booty and Lehmans to see which one's done better since Lehmans arrived. It's nice to actually be able to come up with a comparison here. So obviously, Boskovic played there a bit and Davidson sort of did, but I don't really feel like that's what we're comparing. He only really played there in the 2DM Volante system, and I'm more looking at our standard basic tactic. Pass completion, dead even on them. Regan Booty completes way more passes though in terms of the game, and way more key passes too. So he's clearly a more creative defensive midfielder. That much is pretty clear. And he's better in the tackle, winning 8% more tackles. He wins more interceptions as well per 90 minutes. His headers won ratio is 4% better. His aerial what's this one? Aerial challenges attempts is more as well. We concede a fraction more per 90 minutes, but I think what this is clearly saying is that Regan Booty is just a better player than Clint Lehmans. When we play, he's a more creative player, he's better from set pieces too, and he's just a better defensive player too. But that being said, I think if we can bring in a really good defensive midfielder in the summer, someone that's young and has got decent potential, that's an area I definitely want to look for. Someone maybe with a bit more height. I think Lehmans is fairly tall, 6'2", whereas Booty is 5'11". So I think a DM would be definitely a position to look for in the summer, maybe even more than one, just to really bulk out that area of the team, because we're going to need numbers next year, and the DM is one slot where we are very, very low in. Not really much more I can say about that other than fair play, Regan Booty. You've been a legend again. How many games has he played for us now? 163 games Regan Booty's played for us over, I think, a 6-year period. And how many divisions has he played? I think he played for us in League 2, didn't he? Joined us in League 2. That is fantastic, and he's now played in all 4 of the Football League divisions with us, and this was actually his worst season overall. Fair enough, really, but he is playing in a totally different role, so I guess there's that. Cost us 18 grand. Could have gone for free as well, from what I've been told, but hey, I'd happily pay that now. So let's move on to the centre midfielders. Okay, so centre mid is an interesting one for us. We've got a relatively young set of players in there, if you exclude Puimao. Ability-wise, they're okay, but they've got decent potential amongst them, and all 3 of these guys are still rocking that 5 stars, so there's definitely a lot to go with that. And they've all got a decent number of minutes. Hume's not played that many, but it's still the right amount, really, so we can still take a look at that. Goals per 90 minutes. Puimao, I mean, he is dominant in terms of that. He's got 4 times more goals per 90 minutes than Kubat. He's got 5 goals in only 12 stars, whereas Kubat scored twice all season. Puimao definitely does appear to have that box-to-box gene running through him pretty damn well, and he, towards the end of the year, I think was a bit of a game changer for us in terms of scoring goals from arriving late from midfield. It's undeniable. Andy Davidson, despite being a more creative player, has scored 4 times this year. Now, that could be from direct free kicks,
So take that with a pinch of salt. Assists per 90 minutes. Weirdly, Andy Davison has the lowest, despite being the deep-lying playmaker. So that's a bit strange, but I guess it's not really his role. He's usually getting hockey assists, i.e. spreading it out wide, ball goes in, goal, rather than providing direct assists, where I think someone like Kubat or Puimal in that position is probably laying the ball off to someone to get the goal. So I guess we can look at that as well. Pass completion, Andy Davison by far the highest, and Puimal coming in a second place nicely there. John Hume slipping down a little bit on that one, as you can see, has created no chances this season whatsoever. And Davidson's done all right in terms of chance creation. Cross completion is irrelevant for CMs. Passes completed per 90 minutes. I mean, you can see that Andy Davison does a great job there, and Kubat's maybe a little bit too simplistic with some of his play. I'm still a fan of the lad, and I think he's got a bright future, but I feel like Puimal towards the end of the year has very much overtaken him in my estimations of his ability in our team. Let's face it. Key passes per 90 minutes. This is where, I mean, John Hume, look at that. That could be a bit skewed, of course, but that's still a vastly larger number than a lot of these players. And I still feel like Hume has got one hell of a career ahead of him. And I think next year he's probably going to get a lot more minutes than 400, it's fair to say. Andy Davison doing nicely up there. Kubat, again, a little bit on the low side, but I'm still content that he's got a decent path ahead of him for us. You know, I'm not going to throw him baby out with the bathwater just yet. Tackles 1 ratio. Puimal does brilliantly. Hume's won a lot of them as well. Kubat, fairly low, considering he's played a decent number of games. So there's that. Interceptions, Andy Davison, the king of interceptions, playing quite deep, and Hume does a decent job with interceptions as well. Headers 1, obviously John Hume is going to be massively out top because he's 6'5". He offers a different object in that midfield to win those massive great headers, and that's actually quite useful for us when winning those midfield battles, to be able to win those headers. I mean, look at that. Like I said, only one key header. He's won 83% of his headers this season as well. So that's nice to see. And, well, I mean, Puimal's not particularly tall, so you'd expect that. Team conceded per 90 minutes as well. We don't concede that much when John Hume's on the pitch. It's fair to say. We bring in him on to kill games off, and it does seem to do the job, to be honest. Like, we don't concede that many with him in the team. It's really, really nice to have that as an option. And I feel like he's only going to get better at that as his career progresses. No Player of the Match award this season for him. The others all managed to get 1 each. He also covers more ground per 90 minutes than any of the others too, so you can definitely start to see an emerging talent in John Hume. And he's a box-to-box. I mean, he's got decent stats to play in that role, and great defensive ability too. You know, decent tackling, decent passing, decent marking, great heading. Well, not great heading, but 6'5" too, which definitely helps. I think there's a lot to like about John Hume, and he's only going to get better and better and better. He's still only 19. I feel like long term, this guy could hold down a role as our starting box-to-box midfielder, but I just don't think he's quite there yet. As for signings, I'm content with this, but if we were to see anyone amazing, I would try and pick them up, of course. Mostly want to look for some youngsters that can play in there. Remember, we've got that guy coming in from Colombia who probably won't be able to play. I don't know if he's managed to get a work permit or not, so we'll see. That might come through for us too, so there might be some more competition in that role from a creative standpoint, because Andy Davidson is still improving, but he's going to be 22 next year, so we might find out whether there's a bit of a ceiling on him, and we might have to start looking at someone else to play in that role. But Davison, that being said, still achieved the highest average rating of any player for us this season, and he's played a decent number of games too. So he's been our best player this season, Andy Davison, and long may that continue as well. Right, let's take a look at the wingers. I mean, when it comes to wingers, really, Liam Miller, we've got no comparison because basically no one else has played there. He's actually started 38 games for us this year, which is so good considering how much he missed last season to have been that solid for us this year. It really does fill me with joy. But I will be looking out for an understudy for that position next year. Someone with real potential that can grow into that role and take over for Liam Miller, because he is 25. He's not going to get that much better, really. He's pretty much reaching his prime. So we need someone to take over that can go beyond what he can do. So they need to be tall and have decent stats like Liam Miller, be quite pacey, but that's one area I'm definitely going to look for. I want a DM, a right back, definitely a left midfielder though. That's what we're definitely looking for. I want to see how Okoro and Zimaria compare though. Goals per 90 minutes. Well, I mean, there you go. Zimaria is outperforming John Okoro in terms of goals per 90 minutes. John Okoro only really scored, well, he got 1 goal this year, so I guess you could argue that maybe the sample size isn't great there. But again, on assists per 90 minutes, once again, he is outperforming it. Only slightly, but it's definitely noticeable. He's got 7 goals and 11 assists this year, Zimaria. Maybe John Okoro would have grown into his role in the team this season if he'd been able to, but I don't know. I just feel like his career might be really, really stunted by that horrible injury. I mean, I don't know whether he's been able to recover much on the physical stats. Not really. Like, his stamina and strength took a massive, massive hit as a result of that, and he really has suffered a lot in terms of his physical abilities, and I think that might be what just completely makes him struggle next year. So I might be on the lookout for someone new and young in that position too to potentially take over, because Zimaria is pretty much at his peak, and he's not going to get much better than that. So Cross is that no chances created per 90 minutes. Again, Zemaria outperforming John Okoro quite completely there, which is a bit of a shame. And also in terms of, cross completion, that is noticeably better. 16% compared to 8. John Okoro just hasn't quite had the season he would have wanted. I know there's the injury, but I would have liked to have seen some slightly better numbers than that in that period. Does have better pass completion, to be fair, and he does complete more passes per 90 minutes, which is fine. And no, see, losing on key passes, shots on target is still 67%, which is nice, but it is worse. Dribbles per game is basically dead even too, and they're running about the same amount as well. So Zé Maria basically has just been a better player than John Okoro this year, and it sounds dumb, but I feel like his injury allowed Zé Maria into the team. Well, it literally did, and that probably made us better for it, and I just don't see John Okoro winning his place back. I just don't. Because look at the potential, the ability, I just don't see him getting a great deal better than he currently is anymore. It is so disappointing when you look at the way he started the year. He had those 2 wonderful assists against Watford, I think it was. And then the injury struck. He was looking on the up as if he was about to have the season of his life, and then it's just all crumbled before him. And I don't even think he's going to get a Nigeria cap at this rate. That's how bad his career's changed. And it's a real shame, but I think I do need to look out for players in those wide areas to bring in to maybe boost the ranks in these positions, because we're a little bit thin on the ground in there. And I also am going to be looking for attacking mids, because we've really only got Turil and Liam Hunter. And Hunter wants to leave because he wants to play all the time, and we don't have the ability to put him in the team. So we might need to look for a couple of youngsters that can pop up in there, since we haven't lost Gribben. He will be back from his loan spell, but we did lose Fazic too, which is a shame. Right, now strikers. This should be interesting because we've got a few we can sort of compare to. Now, I know that they haven't had that many minutes. Borlina got a fair amount of minutes towards the start of the season, but it kind of tailed off towards the end, unfortunately. And Juro's mostly played cup matches and substitute appearances this season. But he'll be gone next year anyway. But it would be nice to see what his contribution was. He didn't get any goals for us this year, so there's that. And you look at that, Borlina's actually netted a fair few. He's only started 6 games. He's got 5 goals, a decent number of substitute appearances as well. More goals per 90 minutes, in fact, than Joseph Baisa. But I'm still pretty pleased for the both of them. Borlina, again, more assists too. He seems to be linking up the play a little bit better too, but he does lack that aerial ability in games, which is what I would definitely say. Juro does have 2 assists to his credit. Might have been in the cup, but he's also got that unsporting personality, and I feel like someone like Joseph Baisa, who's a perfectionist, is going to get his head down and create some stuff for us, to be honest. Cross is complete. Look at that. 37% is absolutely outrageous, in fairness to him. Pass completion, they're all over a reasonable amount. Juro, key passes per 90 minutes is again the most, and Borlina has a much higher one. Shots on target percentages, they're all around that period. 57, 55%. That's about what I want for a striker. If they could push towards 60, that would be phenomenal. Shots on target per 90 minutes. Baiza's definitely shooting more. He's winning way more headers than Borlina, as you'd expect. Not a crazy amount, but it's still definitely a lot better. He's dribbling more. He's putting in better performances overall, and he's running more. Baisa, weirdly, has now got a slight potential drop there, which is strange, considering, but it maybe means his ceiling isn't quite as high, and it might be why some of the bigger clubs with the better scouts weren't looking at this guy quite as closely as we are. But still, first season in the Premier League, he's netted 14 goals at the age of 19. I'm still completely content to go with him as our striker next year, because I still feel like there's plenty of room for this guy to improve. The perfectionist personality is definitely going to help him with that. And look at his little face. And he's got 6 goals in 10 matches for his country as well. I still feel like he's the man for us going forward. But if I was to see another amazing player, I wouldn't be afraid to put bids in. Because let's face it, we've got 58 million bloody pounds to spend. And I cannot see myself spending the whole of it. But if there's a player there that I think, oh my God, he's amazing, but he's like 30 million, I might just take the plunge and bring in someone that's unbelievable, if I can do, and convince them to join us. And I think that as well, a lot of that money might have to move into wages, because I think a lot of these players, I'm not going to be able to hold them off for new contracts any longer. I've been doing it most of the year to sort of keep them at bay as much as I can, and it's worked up to a point. But I feel like at some point they are going to start to get on my back and start to want Premier League wages, because some of these guys are still on their Championship contracts. In fact, a lot of the best players are still on their Championship contracts, the likes of Miller, Booty, Davidson, all of those guys. In fact, I think I signed AD Davidson to a new contract, so he is now on Premier League money, but the others aren't, and they're going to want them fairly soon, you'd like to think. So that endeth season 7 of Rebuilding Stockport. Next year, I want to try and push on. I mean, maybe with the right signings, we could push for Europe with a decent goalkeeper. Oh yeah, we're going to be signing a goalkeeper. That is happening. I'm going to scour the leagues to try and find the best possible goalkeeper we can. I want one that's like maybe 21, 22, great current ability,
brilliant potential. That's what we really, really want. If I have to spend 10 million in that position, then I will do, because I want to give us a better goalkeeper. I feel like if we can see 10 less goals this year, we probably qualify for Europe. That's just why I'm looking at it. And if we could get a good goalkeeper that could maybe make that happen, maybe that could be happening. Anyway, let's see. What's going to be the word of the day for today? I'll tell you what, it's going to be Seagate. The word of the day is Seagate. I just bought a new 6 terabyte expansion hard drive so that I can not worry about losing stuff, backing up everything. And I've still got the manual for it listed on my desk right now. So Seagate is the word of the day. Drop that into the comments if you got to this far in the video. And of course, if you enjoy these, do drop a like on them. That would be fantastic, just to let me know that you want me to keep doing them. So yeah, I'll join you guys tomorrow for transfer goodies. I'm going to be doing the transfer window directly after this, after I've edited this, of course. So same day kind of stuff. So hopefully I can bring in some bargains. I'm very much looking forward to getting stuck into this, and hopefully I can bring in some players that you guys are going to enjoy. Maybe find some crazy cool names too. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, drop a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.